Guys, what's going on once again? This is the Club of the Man 1993 coming at you. And man, Wednesday nights are just so busy for me. I'm sitting here how many times a day again? Giving some good news, talking about Daniel Bryan's heel turn, talking about NXT UK, 205 Live, and now we are at NXT, which we'll be talking about in the next two streams. Because doing this one and following this stream, I will do my live preview and predictions of NXT TakeOver War Games 2. But first, let's talk about the go-home show of NXT, which we had tonight, November 14th, 2018. As always, took place in Full Sail University. Overall, good go-home show. It basically showed a lot of, hype videos and whatnot, but we had some matches around that's, setting up for some things to come and whatnot. So I could say it was a pretty good show. Of course, set up probably like two matches we'll probably get next week, which could make next week's show reviewable. Again, it all depends. I'd say maybe like once or twice I've actually reviewed the Fallout show from a takeover, because usually it's just showing the dark matches from the previous weekend's takeover, and most of them are just pre-show matches and just recapping the pay-per-view, which to me it's basically just talking about the pay-per-view again. So that's why I don't always do a review for the Fallout show from a takeover, because it doesn't really usually feel reviewable, even though I'm sure there's a lot of Raw or SmackDowns that are really skippable, but I still talk about them just because. But so we'll see what happens. But of course, let's talk about tonight's episode of NXT again, which was great. Had some solid, decent matches, and we had some really great promos as well to hype up the pay-per-view for this coming Saturday at 7 o'clock p.m., which, once again, just a reminder, I will not be able to watch it live. I have to work till 10, but I'm only going to be 20 minutes up the street from where I live. So as soon as I get home, get clean, I will watch NXT TakeOver War Games 2 and do my live review right afterwards. So, without further ado, let's get into NXT. We open up with a match between the EST, Miss I Am Undefeated, or Undefeated. Sometimes I said tit. But she was taking on the newcomer, recently part of the Mae Young Classic, Mia Yim. And at first I'm thinking, why are we doing this match already? Because Mia Yim's still a newcomer. Why is she immediately going up against someone like Bianca Belair? But to me, just think about, not every newcomer coming in has to be built up with having an undefeated record, pretty much. Like Bianca Belair. Undefeated. Asuka in NXT's. Well, her NXT record still remains undefeated. Or I was like, undefeated. But not many roster. But anyways, so I'm okay with this. Mia Yim could probably put on a solid match, and she did. She put on a good fight up against the EST Bianca Belair, who I still think is ready for an NXT Women's Championship shot. I was very surprised she didn't get inserted into the Women's Championship match, make it a triple threat match. But she's probably gonna get her match at Takeover Phoenix, or whatever they call it, Takeover in January before the Royal Rumble. But I thought these two put on a pretty solid match. The EST was just disrespectful to Mia right away from the get-go. Of course, they got some good offense in, but there's some good near falls. She does get a two count off a spine buster. Mia hits a rolling cannonball on her in the corner, but then Bianca cuts her off, follows up, preventing soul food, and she hits her own finisher, the KOD, on her for her to get the victory. So once again, Bianca Belair remains undefeated. Mia Yim suffers her first loss at NXT, which once again, it's okay. Not everybody can be built around, their record and whatnot. But we'll see what's yet to come from Mia Yim, and we'll see if Bianca Belair gets into the title picture after War Games. So we'll see what happens. So that was our opening match. We had Kathy Kelly backstage with the members of the Babyface War Games team, which is Hanson and Rowe, the War Raiders, Pete Dunne, and Ricochet. Because they're told that later on they're going to have a match against the Pig member from Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly. They're going to pick one person to face him, and the winner of that match gets an advantage in the War Games matches. I thought I heard them say is pretty much, who is going to get the first person to go into this first person to go into the match after like so many minutes when they send someone else in. Because last year there were 3 teams, and every like 5 minutes or so, I think it was, they would like release another team from the cage, and like they would pick, and they would get to go in to the War Games match. But this time, since there's 2 teams, I think they're going to send like people in individually, I think. So this is pretty much, who will be the first team to send someone in, I think was the advantage. I can't remember for sure, but I'll probably say here in the notes on not smart, cage side seats. But they're trying to pick who will face Kyle O'Reilly later for that advantage. At first, there's an argument between Pete Dunne and Ricochet, but finally, Rowe cuts them off with enough, and Hanson says he's doing it. And they're all like, okay, who's going to argue with a War Raider, pretty much? So they accepted, and it's set for our main event, which would be Kyle O'Reilly and Hanson. Again, the winner gets an advantage for their team at War Games. I feel like I'm talking about Survivor, but I'm not talking about Survivor. By the way, John Morrison got voted off tonight in a strange turn of events, but it was definitely a good tribal council. But yeah, John Morrison unfortunately will not be winning Survivor this year. We didn't get a video package for the Johnny Gargano and Aleister Black feud, recapping a story about, who attacked Aleister Black, revealed to be Johnny Gargano. It's pretty much just Johnny explaining why, Aleister firing back at him and whatnot. It really puts a clear retrospect that Johnny Gargano was guilty of Aleister Black's assault all along, as usual. That match, again, could be probably be a show stealer big time. I mean, we expect the 4 matches for Gargano are all going to be good. This one, I definitely think could be a show stealer. The War Games match is going to be great. Ciampa and Dream's going to be a really good match also. We can see Johnny get involved in that as well. On top of that, my takeover predictions. Of course, the 2 out of 3 falls match for the women, probably the weakest match on the card, but it still could be a really great match. And then we got Johnny Gargano and Aleister Black, which I think can be a hell of a match. We've seen them. Well, they're supposed to have a match for the NXT Championship earlier before Tommaso Ciampa got involved. Then they kind of had a little bit of a match shortly before. That's kind of first set up the triple threat for TakeOver Brooklyn 3. Of course, that's before Brooklyn 4 was before Aleister Black got taken out by Gargano. But that was kind of like a fight. So there was unfinished business. If these two having a match, too big to be on NXT, has to be on a pay-per-view. So again, that match again is going to be freaking awesome. A great video package. I want to go back and watch it again. Then we have Kathy Kelly interviewing Matt Riddle, saying so far things have been great at NXT. He made his debut, or actually he said his debut instead of debut. Everything is great. But then Cassius Ohno comes in and says him confronting Riddle last week was a test, and Matt hasn't answered it by agreeing to a match. He's beginning to think the Bro Show is bogus. Riddle accepts the match and says he'll have Cassius saying "Oh no" when he knocks him out when they face next week. Kathy apologizes for the interruption, and Riddle says he's used to stuff like that. He's glad they talked though, because now they can fight. So I thought that we're going to see Cassius Ohno have a match with either him or Keith Lee at TakeOver. Maybe we'll still get Keith Lee and Cassius Ohno. I'm not sure. This is also a shiny new toy, as Ohno put it that way. How he was tired of everybody else getting the buzz, and then he's being overlooked. He's frustrated, whatnot. Again, I wouldn't say he's a full-fledged heel yet, but I think eventually something will happen to officially solidify Cassius Ohno as a heel, I feel. So yeah, we're getting Matt Riddle and Cassius Ohno next week, and I believe we're also getting Nikki Cross and Candice LeRae next week as well. So again, next week's that Fallout show could be interesting with the dark matches. So we'll see what happens, of course, next week, depending on if I wanted to review it or not, pretty much. We then have Lacey Evans take on Carissa Rivera. Quick match to beat her with a women's right, which Evans had the offense on it for the most part. But Rivera did a drop kick on Lacey, but Lacey just, wiped the sweat off from her forehead with a handkerchief and then just hit her with a woman's right, and that was it. She has a microphone, runs through her usual spiel about being the only relay in NXT and how she's going to teach the rest of the division some manners with the women's right. She kind of said that earlier. Again, I'm just still – she's so – like when she shows a more aggressive side in her matches, I can get behind it. But again, I'm still – like I don't have the biggest hype for Lacey Evans yet. Still, as I keep saying, like she's getting better. I'll give her the credit, But, I still don't see what's that great behind her, really. I mean, yeah, she had another match, but she keeps repeating the same promo and whatnot, and it doesn't feel like she's getting much anywhere yet. I thought I heard one time again she's supposed to be like the lady of the forgotten part, like the woman part of the Forgotten Sons tag team, but I don't know. So again, she wins this match. Not a bad match again. Then we have the promo for Velveteen Dream and Tommaso Ciampa's NXT title match. Dream thinks Los Angeles is the perfect place for the lightning bolt that's hit NXT this past year to fully grab the spotlight. The champ says Velveteen's never had an experience like him and says if he tries to step into his spotlight, it'll burn Dream up pretty much. We also get a recap for the women's title match. First, we see what happened at Evolution and with Jessamine Duke and Marina Schaefer interfering in the match, costing Kairi staying in the match. Kairi says that Shayna Baszler took her treasure, but at War Games she'll get it back. She also seems to indicate that Baszler won't have her friends this time, and I highly doubt it's going to happen. I do see them showing up. She definitely says there's no way Shayna could beat her twice, she claims. So we'll have to see. We'll talk about that, of course, in my preview and predictions. And I'm looking at, again, Cage Side sees sort of notes for what will happen. And I'm seeing this advertisement for some mushroom bacon burger thing at Quaker Steak and Lube. It's making me seriously hungry for. Of course, Survivor made me crave pizza. But what do I know? Oh, my goodness. I'll be having pizza this Friday, though. Boy, it's been a crazy week. And then finally, we get our main event. Kyle O'Reilly taking on Hanson. And again, it is for an entry advantage in War Games. Not a bad match. Again, Kyle O'Reilly does continue to show me that he can do some good stuff as a singles competitor. I don't see him being that big of a singles competitor yet, though. But I think, as a tag team, competitor, he's awesome. But I thought him and Hanson put on a pretty good match. Again, Hanson being the bigger man. O'Reilly not really showing much, restraint from him, though. Like, he seemed like, he was confident in what he was doing, going after the leg like he usually does, being more of like a technical wrestler or mat wrestler. There was a part of the match where it did look like Hanson kind of like, aggravated his knee or something like that, and O'Reilly took advantage of his knee pretty much. Things changed up a little bit whenever Adam Cole comes in to distract him. And then, of course, first it seemed like, Hanson had things under control, but then he goes for a moonsault and it doesn't work. And then all of a sudden, Adam Cole gets involved, and then out came Rowe to brawl with Cole. But then out came Strong and Fish, and then Pete Dunne came out. Of course, he threatened Roderick Strong to break his finger or whatever. It looked like Pete Dunne took an awkward landing on his knee also when he came out. Well, Fish hit a chop block on him. And then you see in the background, Ricochet comes through the crowd, runs through and hits a tope con hilo onto the Undisputed Era. Of course, the referee was watching him take all of the bodies, and then Kyle O'Reilly out of nowhere grabs one of the tag title belts and just runs it right through Hanson's head and from behind, and because of that, Kyle O'Reilly wins the match. So the Undisputed Era will have the entry advantage in the War Games match, which will most likely, and I feel, should be our main event on Saturday night. But that's the show, guys. Overall, good matches. Nothing really was like classic or whatnot, but told the storytelling. The promos did this thing. I don't give this week's episode once again a B+. B+, it was mostly a promo show. We had some good matches, but nothing that maybe wanted to give this like an A- or an A yet, being a little picky, but still a strong episode of NXT tonight. What grade would you guys give NXT? Of course, your thoughts down in the comment section below. And be sure as always to click my like and subscribe while we're calling to my channel. Follow me on Twitter at TheManRunning3. And guys, just give me a few minutes and I will be back up here again one more time tonight for my live preview and predictions of NXT TakeOver War Games 2. And again, if I have time afterwards, maybe I'll try to do the next level of Hitler at the 9th gate. So until then, guys, I'll see you all in a few minutes. I'll catch you all then. Peace out, everybody.